Mother I Sober, I think is what it was.
Yeah. That hit hard for me, only because, I just remember when I was 8 months pregnant and I had a breakdown. Like, I had to go to the hospital and everything, but I had dealt with molestation myself. And also, my stepfather was a creep, So I remember I was in the house and he just looked at me weird, one of his little creepy ways. And I just had a panic attack.
This is when you were 8 months pregnant?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking, all the women in my family are victims of, sexual abuse. I know I'm having a boy. How can I make sure this stops right then and there? And I had no clue, no answer. And not only that, too, being much more ignorant back then. My son is 25 now. Like, I've always had gay friends, and I always appreciated my gay friends. But still, I still wasn't enlightened enough to the point where I still say, I can respect you being gay, but didn't have this mindset that being gay was wrong. It was like, I'm accepting you, but I don't want my kid to be gay. So it was even from a place there, I was like, I don't want anyone, I know from my friends who are gay, my male friends, that it started from sexual abuse, some of them. I don't want this happening to my son, so I just lost my shit. I just lost my shit. So when he talked about, how that one line when he said even questioning his thoughts and stuff like that, and it just kind of like, it just hit home for me. It hit home for me, It was heavy. It was heavy. I think it needed to be said. I think it's something, conversations need to be had in our community, because, I know too many women who go, and when I'm beginning to find out, I know a lot more men who are going through this, and it's just not being said.
Yeah.
It's just not being said, and they're not speaking out because they are scared that their sexuality is going to be questioned. And it's like, no, if you've been molested by a man or whatever, that doesn't mean, and that doesn't mean that you are gay. Even if because people don't even understand, even with molestation and being raped and everything, when things happen, it's a terrible experience, but that doesn't mean you don't feel things, sexual things, it's weird. I wouldn't say pleasure or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you don't get aroused. So you deal with that, feeling dirty from those things. This is really
feel guilty. Yeah.
I thought we said we was gonna keep this shit light. But anywho, we already down this rabbit hole. Let's go there. Yeah. So I think these are conversations that really need to be had, because that's not what it means, you know.
And the deep shit is that, what he was saying, and I like that song too, especially when he was talking about, grief, try dealing with grief when you're sober.
Yeah.
Not just, when I thought about it, not just being sober and guilt. He said guilt, sober too. Not being sober, intoxicated, alcohol, drugs, but however you medicate, whatever drug you use, the women, the just being, running through multiple women, all of that medication that you do, you know what I'm saying? It's so you don't deal with the shit that you have to deal with. You medicate it, you know what I'm saying? So you go through, so men grow up going through their whole lives when they experience that or something similar, or even like you said, the thought of it, right? Someone who around them who's doing it, watching his mother dealing with a lot of shit. They medicate that through all of these wild, what we call, fuck boy behaviors. All of this wild shit that we do is all medication, not to deal with what we're really going through. And so it starts to, man, you destroy relationships, bro. You go through and leave destruction. I mean,
like a tornado.
Level relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship, and you don't know fucking why until you start to really deal with the grief and the guilt sober.
And you add a piece, we have no idea what motherfuckers is really going through.
We don't.
Yep.
People we living with,
Yeah.
people we sleeping with,
Yep.
have no idea. And sometimes it shows up in just not saying nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is the response to 30, 40, 50 years
Yeah.
of just dealing with some shit that you never really even addressed.
Yeah.
And when we connect with somebody, they can't see that far back. All they can see is how you showing up,
Yeah, presenting yourself now.
how you present yourself now.
How
And that's
you
the
handle
best.
yourself.
Dude, when that motherfucker said, the main thing that got me to get my shit together, bro. And I get feeling that pain and that guilt from what I did to women.
Mm-hmm.
Sober,
Yeah.
I was just like,
Me too.
this is over. I mean, like, in every motherfucking, I will die before I do what I was doing again.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I had to put myself in this position to be so motherfucking uncomfortable to feel that shit
Yeah.
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 and then to deal with it,
Yeah.
to be like, oh, okay, that's what that is.
Yeah.
I got you. We good.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna have to go there no more.
Yeah.
We good.
Yeah.
I got you. We
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you fucking around, if you sober, if you shutting down, if you not shutting down, if you yelling, shit, that can be a form.
All of that shit is medication, bro. All that shit is intoxication. The shutting down, you disconnect yourself from what you're actually feeling. You know what I'm saying? That shit is just like being drunk.
Yeah,
or
but you
being
still
high.
feel that shit.
It's just you just don't wanna you don't
still
wanna
feel
feel
it.
that shit.
Yeah.
And all the rest of the shit that we do, dog, and we do it for, I mean, Kendrick was talking about this shit at 12. We do this shit for 40 years bro, of doing that. Disconnecting yourself and medicating, and we run through, and the same thing. Once you looked at that guilt and that grief sober, man, that shit will break you down.
It'll break you down.
To you strip of nothing but what the fuck you're feeling. And that shit is raw, and it forces you to say, like you just said, I'm not doing that shit no more.